Hi, welcome to the Just the Disc YouTube channel. My name is Brian. This is where we talk about Blu-rays. I'm doing a little collection update here. I have the new disc box, and the new disc box is full of stuff, and so I want to talk to you about said stuff. And let's start with something classy here. Start with a Criterion. The Hit. Stephen Frears film from 1984. And I first discovered this movie via Danny Perry's Guide for the Film Fanatic, which is my favorite book. And not only does it have something like 1,200 mini essays about films, it also has a great checklist in the back, which was one of my favorite features of the book. And it was alphabetical, but each of the titles, well, not all of them, actually some were just listed there, and that's enough. It's like he's saying, this is an interesting movie, check it out. But on some of the titles, he would actually put a little abbreviation. It would be like S for sleeper, H for a historically significant movie, CM was a cult movie. I remember The Hit had a CM next to it, and I was like, oh, I wonder why that is. And then I watched the movie, and I was like, okay, I get it. Not only is it from director Stephen Frears, as I mentioned, who did The Grifters, High Fidelity, and previous to that, My Beautiful Laundrette, Prick Up Your Ears. He's a very interesting filmmaker, and that is certainly part of it. But another part of it is this cast, which is primarily Terrence Stamp, and then John Hurt, and a very young Tim Roth. And all of them are great. And the basic premise is that Stamp plays a guy named Willie. He is a career criminal who's decided at the beginning of the film that he's going to turn state's evidence. He's going to rat out his friends in court and his crew, if you will. They're bank robbers. And so he does that. It's actually a really fun, interesting scene because he's all trying to be prim and proper, and no, I didn't get any motivation to do this because of any leniency that might be coming my way. This was just the right thing to do. And of course, his criminal buddies are in the courtroom, and as he is getting down from the stand, they all start singing at the same time, "We'll Meet Again," the song you hear at the end of Doctor Strangelove. And it's like both menacing and pretty funny, and it's just a great open to the movie. But anyway, the majority of the story takes place 10 years after that, and it's basically that Willie has gone to live in Spain. He's off the grid, if you will, and he has a bodyguard, but unfortunately that is not going to cut it. He runs into some problems in the form of a group of young toughs, Spanish toughs, and they grab him for a couple hoods. You know, one of them played by John Hurt and the other played by Tim Roth. And the movie kind of goes from there. I don't want to give away too much more other than it's not like a stage play kind of feeling. That's the back of it. And it's not stage play per se, but it is, like it's a small cast, but they're all great actors. So it's really wonderful to watch them act. They're just, especially Hurt and Terrence Stamp, and Tim Roth is great too, especially at that age. But those two together, just really good stuff. This has a restored 2K digital transfer approved by DP Mike Malloy. It has an audio commentary from 2009 featuring director Stephen Frears and John Hurt and Tim Roth, and screenwriter Peter Prince and editor Mick Udsley. An interview from 1988 with actor Terrence Stamp from the television show Parkinson 1-to-1. So that's basically it, but it's a decent amount of features and, a new restored transfer. I'm definitely excited to check this out on this Blu-ray. I know the film, but I'm very curious how it'll look in this new form. Very excited about that one. Next up, we have one of my favorite spy movies, The Ipcress File, with Michael Caine. And what that one looks like. The back. Yeah, so this is a film from 1965, and it's the first of 3 Harry Palmer movies that Michael Caine would do, where he plays this spy named Harry Palmer, and he's really good. And this one, it's also produced by Harry Saltzman, the producer of some of the James Bond films like Dr. No, Goldfinger, Thunderball, On Her Majesty's. But this is, it's more of a, I mean, it's a spy thriller, but it's a mystery, and it's definitely Cold War fueled. It says at the height of the Cold War, an ex-thief, Harry Palmer, now reluctantly working as a secret agent, has been called in to investigate a strange occurrence among a number of leading scientists. It seems the scientists have been kidnapped, but reappear only days after the kidnapping, brainwashed and useless. During the course of the investigation, a tape is uncovered with the word Ipcress on it. This stylish classic was directed by Sidney J. Furie, edited by Peter R. Hunt, who did From Russia with Love. Anyway, it's just really good. It's kind of low key. It's not like a Bond movie in that, you know, it's not action packed or anything, although there are a couple, you know, bursts, set pieces. But I don't know. I really like this one a lot. It's just a great Caine performance. He really inhabits this character. There's like an arrogance to him. Caine really just nails that. So, anyway, I'm a big fan of this movie. This is the 3rd time I'm owning this on Blu-ray. It has been available in at least 2 formats. I want to say they were British and French maybe I've had, but I think this is the first US release that I know of. It's not necessarily, the other ones, some of them were US friendly, but this is the official US debut, I want to say. Don't quote me, but it's the Region A version from Kino, and it has an audio commentary by director Sidney J. Furie and editor Peter Hunt. I'm assuming that's ported over. Audio commentary by film historian Troy Haworth and film historian filmmaker Daniel Creamer, and interview with star Michael Caine. Interview with production designer Ken Adam. Trailers from Hell with Howard Rodman. Good amount of features. That's cool. So that is the Ipcress File. Then we have another one from Kino. Very different. Amazon Women on the Moon. Now, this is a another cult movie, cult comedy with multiple directors. You have Joe Dante, Carl Gottlieb, Peter Horton directed one. I forgot that. John Landis and Robert K. Weiss. So you have different segments, and I mean, it's kind of like watching a late night movie. I mean, to me, it throws back to Joe Dante's movie orgy, which he did before he started with Corman editing trailers. This movie orgy was something that he and a friend of his put together, where they had clips from movies, they had like old commercials, and I think they had one movie that sort of ran through it like a narrative thread, but it was the kind of thing that could run. I think it could run it for like 6 to 12 hours or something. I mean, they had different versions. They were longer, shorter. Anyway, it was something they would do on college campuses to sell beer, apparently. And his editing abilities in terms of the movie orgy helped him get the job cutting trailers for Corman. But anyway, when I see Amazon Women on the Moon, I think of that kind of thing, because basically you have a movie in it, you know, a fake movie called Amazon Women on the Moon, and you're watching it on TV, and then we cut away to commercial breaks or, you know, certain ways that look like somebody's flipping a channel, and we're seeing these other weird spoof shows. yeah, there's a lot of funny stuff in this, and it's just really goofy. You know, it's that sort of 80s goofiness. Like, doesn't feel like the kind of movie you would get now. Yeah, it's a weird one, but I like this movie. And there is the back. Now, I also have, ta-da, the 101 Films version of Amazon Women on the Moon. And I'll do a little Pepsi challenge with those two in a second here. This one has, let's see, audio commentary by film historians Kat Ellinger and Mike McPadden. Very cool. Let's see here. The True Story of Amazon Women on the Moon featurette with directors John Landis, Joe Dante, co-editor Marshall Harvey, casting director Julie Seltzer, and actress Belinda Belasky. I don't know if that's new or I don't know, but that sounds cool. Newly discovered outtakes and dailies from Joe Dante's personal archive. So that is definitely a brand new thing to this. More outtakes and deleted scenes. So that's got a lot of nice features on it. So I was like, okay, I don't really need this 101 Films version, do I? And this is, I don't see if this is showing the region on it. Maybe you guys will see it, but it did play in my Region A player. But so this one also has some features that are different. So this one has something called We're Gonna Need Bigger Skits, an interview with Carl Gottlieb, cinematographer on the Moon, an interview with Daniel Pearl, audio commentary with Mondo Digital's Nathaniel Thompson. So neither of those three are on this disc. So I don't know. Depends on what you want. I'm going to keep both. I like this movie enough to keep both. But that's those two. Next we have Mallrats. This is the new Arrow video version of Mallrats. The limited edition, I guess. So I've always been a fan of this one. I think I still like Clerks the best. I know that's boring, but Mallrats is definitely a close second for me. And I don't know, just one of those movies that is inherently Kevin Smith in terms of the dialogue and the plot and everything. And I haven't broken this open yet, as you can see, but I am excited to check out all that it has to offer, which is a lot. So obviously this is about two guys who get dumped by their respective girlfriends and go to the mall, and hijinks ensue. You know, the cast is the classic Jeremy London and Jason Lee. I get my Londons confused. Claire Forlani, Michael Rooker, Stan Lee, of course Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes. But anyway, let's talk about the extras here. So in terms of the restoration, let's see, new restoration by Arrow Films of both the theatrical and extended cuts of the film, approved by director Kevin Smith and cinematographer David Klein. TV cut of the film featuring hilarious overdubbing to cover up profanity. Let's see here. Collector's booklet, fold-out poster, Operation Dark Knight, replica blueprints, Operation Drive-By, Operation Dark Knight. So you get those from the movie, which is fun. And then disc 1, original theatrical cut. Let's see here. This has an audio commentary with director Kevin Smith, producer Scott Mosier, archivist Vincent Pereira, and actors Jason Lee, Ben Affleck, and Jason Mewes. Brand new introduction to the film by Kevin Smith. My Mallrats Memories, an all-new interview with Kevin Smith. A newly filmed tribute to producer Jim Jacks by Kevin Smith. Brand new interview with actor Jason Mewes. And brand new interview with cinematographer David Klein. Hollywood of the North, a newly produced animated making of documentary featuring Minnesota crew members who worked on the film. That sounds cool. Deleted scenes. Kevin Smith and Vincent Pereira discussed deleted scenes and sequences originally cut from the film. Outtakes behind-the-scenes footage, cast interviews from the original set, erection of an epic, making of Mallrats, the archival retrospective with cast and crew, looking at the making and release of the film, Q&A with Kevin Smith, archival Q&A from the 10th anniversary, Build Me Up Buttercup music video. And then disc 2 has the extended and TV cuts. So you have an archival introduction to the extended cut by Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier, brand new introduction to the TV cut by Kevin Smith, and that's kind of it. But that's a lot of stuff. This is definitely a Criterion level release for Mallrats, which is fun to have. So that is the Arrow Mallrats. Next up we have Scream Factory, Terror in the Aisles. So now I've had a couple of people ask, and I can't comment yet, if I have Halloween 2, not the Scream Factory version, but the I guess the Universal edition that came with Terror in the Aisles as an extra, right? And you can get that for, I think you can still get it for like $10 if you want that Halloween 2 that has this. So what I'm getting here is that this isn't necessarily a new transfer of this. And for those who don't know, I'll just read the back. Terror in the Aisles is a roller coaster ride through the most terrifying moments from over 70 of Hollywood's greatest chillers. Donald Pleasance and Nancy Allen are hosts of this blood-curdling journey through a collection of horror classics like Psycho, Jaws, Poltergeist, Alien, The Bride of Frankenstein, The Exorcist, Halloween, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So what you have is basically, and this used to be on VHS, so it's, I don't want to say it's a glorified clip reel because that's not exactly what it is. They did a special shoot for it. They're in a movie theater, if I remember, and they're talking about these movies and they show clips from these movies. So what this has that your Halloween 2 extra Terror in the Aisles as an extra doesn't have is it has some new interviews. So you have a new interview with actress Nancy Allen. You have new interviews with composer John Beal and editor Gregory McClatchy. You have a new audio commentary with pop culture historian Russell Dyball. He did a commentary on the Shout Select version of Dragnet, which I really dug. I liked his track on that. And he also did Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, I think, for Shout Select. So I like his commentary. So that to me was, almost enough right there. But then on top of that, you also have an alternate television cut, and this is in SD, which apparently has all different movies used. So I'm intrigued to see that. And so I guess if you're into this kind of thing, you're probably going to want to upgrade from that Halloween 2 version. I couldn't resist, so I had to get it. But there's that. Terror in the Aisles. Now I have here several Clint Eastwood westerns in slipcases from Kino Lorber. So we start with High Plains Drifter, which is one of his earliest films. I want to say it's his second film. Yeah, I think it was Play Misty for Me, this, and then Breezy. Yeah, I think that's how it went. But this is one of his better movies, I think. And it's written by Ernest Tidyman. I always remember he wrote, I think, Shaft, and a bunch of other stuff. But from Clint Eastwood, the acclaimed director, star of The Outlaw Josie Wales, and several other Clint Eastwood movies, comes this veteran masterpiece in homage to his Man with No Name legend. Eastwood portrays a mysterious stranger who emerges out of the heat waves of the desert and rides into the guilt-ridden town of Lago. After committing 3 murders in the first 20 minutes, the stranger is hired by the town's citizens to protect them from the 3 vengeful gunmen about to be released from jail. Eastwood's second film as a director is a tribute to his 3 spaghetti western classics with the great Sergio Leone. And the cast includes, let's see here. It includes Mariana Hill, Jeffrey Lewis, John Hillerman. Oh, nice. And Verna Bloom, among others. Beautifully shot in Cinescope by Bruce Surtees, who shot Dirty Harry. Oh my God! And a great screenplay by Ernest Tidyman, who also wrote The French Connection. So that's definitely not a bad piece of writing. Yeah. So nice slipcase for this. And the extras include an audio commentary by filmmaker Alex Cox. Very cool. I like his Western commentaries. Interview with actress Mariana Hill. Interview with actor Mitchell Ryan. Interview with actor William O'Connell. A Man Named Eastwood Vintage High Plains Drifter promo. And then we have Trailers from Hell. I guess 2 of them. One from Edgar Wright and one from Josh Olson. So I guess they both like this movie. So that's High Plains Drifter. Then we have Two Mules for Sister Sarah with Shirley MacLaine. Now this is directed by Don Siegel. You know, his other collaborator, if you will. I always think of him as like, I mean, he obviously did films for other people, but you have your Leone movies, you have your Don Siegel movies, and then you have Clint directing his own movies. So this is Seagull, and this is actually before he does, before Eastwood makes his debut, because it's 1970. So, was this a brand new? I can't remember if this one doesn't say it's a brand new restoration, but this does. This says brand new 4K restoration by Universal Pictures. From Don Siegel, the legendary director of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, comes this classic Western starring screen legends Clint Eastwood and Shirley MacLaine. Eastwood is a hard-hitting drifter who rides into town and single-handedly rescues a local nun. I forgot about that. Sister Sarah. Played by Shirley MacLaine, and a gang of bandits. After meeting a band of Mexican revolutionaries bent on resisting the French occupation of Mexico, the cowboy and Sister Sarah decide to join forces with the freedom fighters and set off on a deadly mission to capture the enemy's garrison. But along the way, a steamy romance develops. Doesn't it always? So, I haven't seen this one in a long time. And I remember liking the two of them in this. I'm a big Shirley MacLaine fan, so I can't remember if this had like a African Queen vibe or something, but I did dig it, I think. And it's Siegel, and I forgot about that. And the screenplay's by Bud Bedecker, so even more good stuff that I forgot about this movie. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this. This has also a commentary by filmmaker Alex Cox, and then at Home with Clint, a vintage candid interview with Clint Eastwood. I don't know what that is, but that is interesting. Okay, well, that's Two Mules for Sister Sarah, and I've got one more. Joe Kidd. Now this is the one I'm least familiar with. Think I've seen it maybe once. This is directed by John Sturges. So you've got, the director of The Great Escape and Ice Station Zebra, Bad Day at Black Rock. From director John Sturges, he also did Gunfight at the OK Corral and The Magnificent Seven. Anyway, comes this action-packed Western starring screen greats Clint Eastwood and Robert Duvall. That's cool. During a land war in New Mexico, at the turn of the century, an ex-bounty hunter, Eastwood, reluctantly helps a wealthy landowner, Duvall, and his henchmen track down a Mexican revolutionary leader, John Saxon. Beautifully shot by Bruce Surtees again. With a rousing score by Lalo Schifrin and a wonderful screenplay by Elmore Leonard. That's what I always remember about this one. It is a script by Elmore Leonard. And Don Stroud is in it too. But yeah, no, I just remember being into it because it's a Western script by Elmore Leonard, who obviously also wrote 310 to Yuma, among other things. Yeah, no, I'm very curious to check this one out. Oh, Dick Van Patten? That's funny. Like I said, it's been a really long time. If I saw this, it was on VHS years and years ago, and I've never had a chance to get back to it again. That's what that looks like. So this also has an audio commentary by filmmaker Alex Cox and an interview with actor Don Stroud. That's a nice little extra. And again, I don't know if that note from this one says brand new 4K restorations by Universal Pictures. Restorations, it says. Like maybe all three of these, but don't quote me there. I don't really know. Okay, a few more things here. Another Arrow, pitch black and 4K. I haven't seen this one in years, and I've heard this looks great. I didn't go for the limited on this one. I just wanted the 4K. I like this movie. I don't remember loving this movie, but I do like it, you know, and it's a neat sci-fi. David Twohy, I think his name is. Yeah, no, and this is, I remember this being good. Wow, I can't read these extras too well. I know Arrow is doing new transfers. That's definitely something to keep an eye on when you're buying 4Ks. See if they're doing a new transfer. You know, I know that Arrow is, and I know that Flash Gordon 4K, I think that's back there somewhere. That looked amazing, and so I've heard this looks good. I'm sure Tremors is going to look good when that comes out, but just keep an eye on them, because there may be some folks that are not doing new transfers, and so they may be bringing transfers over from the UK, Studio Canal, or wherever, and it's just something to be aware of, because you might be, I don't know, it just might not look as good. But anyway, so this has 2 cuts of the movie. Audio commentary with director David Twohy and stars Vin Diesel and Cole Hauser. Archive commentary with director David Twohy, producer Tom Engelman, and visual effects supervisor Peter Chiang. Nightfall, The Making of Pitch Black, newly filmed interview with director co-writer David Twohy. Black Box, Jackie's Journey, a newly recorded interview with actress Rihanna Griffith. Black Box, Shazza's Last Stand, a newly recorded interview with actor Claudia Black, and then a newly recorded interview with cinematographer David Egby, and a newly recorded interview with visual effects supervisor Peter Chiang, and a newly recorded interview with composer Graham Revell. And then a making of, and yeah, there's a bunch more stuff here, but that's pretty solid. Definitely interested in this new. The Arrow 4Ks are my. I'm buying 4Ks, but very selectively, and these Arrow ones are high on my list. If it's a movie I have any interest in, I'm probably gonna get it. So, had to get Pitch Black. Just a few more here. Sorry, this is Limbo from AGFA, and sorry, box was overflowing. This one, I don't know too much about this one. So it's AGFA and Bleeding Skull, and the back says, after starring in 100 movies over the past 2 decades, Tina Krause has established herself as an unstoppable warrior from the DIY fringes. Limbo is the first and to this day only movie written and directed by Krause, and it's truly invigorating. Limbo presents 3 days in the life of a woman named Elizabeth, as she deals with identity issues, sexist mouth breathers, supernatural manifestations, and a possible trip to hell. Combining video collage experiments with dreamy horror mood, this is what might happen if David Lynch and Nine Inch Nails collaborated on a shot-on-video horror movie. Previously only available on VHS, AGFA and Bleeding Skull are honored to present a brand new transfer of Limbo from the original SVHS master tape. So this is going to be an SOV title. It is all region. Get a sense of what you get in there. Some weirdness, which is what I look for from my AGFA Blu-rays. Let's see here. Commentary track with Tina Krause and Bleeding Skull team. Archival behind-the-scenes documentary. Answering Machine short film by Tina Krause. And Fantastic Fest Q&A. Eaten Alive, A Wave Productions shorts starring Tina. So a couple shorts, I guess. I'm misreading that, I guess. But anyway, I'm very curious about anything AGFA does. If you're not aware of them or you're not keeping an eye on what they're doing, definitely look into it. You can see their stuff on the Vinegar Syndrome website under, I think it's under partner labels or something like that. And they're always putting out interesting films and things I want to check out. So this is just one of the newest ones that I got to get to, Limbo. Just a few more here. The Haunting. This is a Paramount Presents Blu-ray. This is, of course, the 1999 Jan de Bont version with Liam Neeson and Catherine Zeta-Jones, Owen Wilson, Lily Taylor. I remember not digging this movie that much when I saw it in the theater in 1999. And I put it on, I started it, and I will say, this Blu-ray looks really good. So that was helping me. I think I'm still having some character issues with it. Just some characters I'm not fully on board with. And they did make some changes to the story because you have, in the original, paranormal investigators going into Hill House to investigate. And in this case, you have Liam Neeson as a doctor who's bringing people in ostensibly under the idea of doing a sleep study. They're supposedly all people who have problems sleeping. But really what he's doing, and not to spoil too much, but he's doing sort of a study of fear. And I think he wants to get their reactions, and of course he is not fully aware of what he's done, and we know this doesn't go well. But I do like, I've said before, I like these Paramount Presents Blu-rays. I like what they're doing. You have the nice slipcase, and then it opens up like this. All of them do that, which is kind of cool. And then, I don't think they have, oh yeah, maybe they do. Well, they don't have alternate art, but they have like that kind of stuff on the inside. They always end up doing a little bit of new stuff, like if there was I don't know if this has been on Blu-ray. I don't think this film has been on Blu-ray, actually. So if it was on DVD with some features, they might bring those over. Like, I guess the previous versions of this only had a behind-the-scenes featurette, which you're getting, but then they have a new filmmaker-focused director, Jan de Bont, on The Haunting HD. And I want to say it's about 10 minutes, but I watched that, and I dug that, and it actually kind of gave me a little more perspective on what they had to work with and how they went about the new adaptation. And there is definitely some creepy stuff in this movie. Some stuff that, there's some early CG stuff that's a little tough, but there's stuff with some cherubic kids' faces that's sort of built into the architecture, and there's definitely some creepy moments where I got a little kind of like that tingly, like, ugh, feeling. So I got to give it that, but I know this movie is not necessarily well loved, so I'm sure it's a harder sell for a lot of folks, but I'm willing to give it another try. Like I said, I started it. I was still having some issues with it, but I'm going to finish it out. And like I said, the transfer is lovely. So let's see here. Next we have little Bill Forsyth. This is a slightly older release, but I just got this and wanted to talk about it. So it's Gregorys Girl. He directed Local Hero, which is on the Criterion Collection. He also did Comfort and Joy. He did a movie called Breaking In, which is a John Sayles script and a great, low-key drama with Casey Shamasco and Burt Reynolds. But this is sort of more of a coming-of-age romance, and it's a soccer movie or a football movie, if you want. It says Gregory is an awkward hormone-fueled Scottish teenager who's fallen hard for Dorothy, the first female player on his school soccer team. Newcomer to the game of love, Gregory has no idea how to pursue the object of his affection, and shockingly, the only person who can offer any constructive advice is his 10-year-old sister. That's adorable. When he finally musters the courage to ask Dorothy on a date, nothing turns out as expected, but if you're an eternal optimist like Gregory, somehow things always work out in the end. This acclaimed second feature from director Bill Forsyth was the winner of the 1982 BAFTA Award for Best Original Screenplay. So this is a really cute movie, really sweet, and gives you a sense of the kind of movies that Bill Forsyth would make. These character-driven dramas, but they would almost always have some comedy in them, or some would lean much more heavily into the comedy. In fact, most of them do, now that I think about it. He also did Housekeeping, which has a really nice indicator Blu-ray, which I think might be almost out of print, but definitely worth getting. This has an audio commentary with Bill Forsyth and Mark Kermode. Mark Kermode is a big fan of Forsyth, in this movie in particular. And then Bill Forsyth on Gregorys Girl interview, Bill Forsyth the early years interview, Gregorys Girl memories interview with Clara Grogan, new essay by film scholar Jonathan Murray, alternative U.S. and French dub versions. So this is a Blu-ray from Film Movement. It's an all-region disc. Film Movement Classics. Film Movement is a solid company that I do recommend you check out. I think one of their other big releases people might know is they put out The Great Silence, the classic snowbound western that has a really nice Blu-ray from them as well. They've done a bunch of other stuff. Definitely go check them out. But this is a new one relatively new, that I wanted to highlight because I like Bill Forsyth a lot. And if you haven't seen any of his films, this one is definitely an enjoyable time. Two more quick. This is an older one too that I just got for whatever reason. Amsterdams, Dick Moss, slasher thriller in the canals of Amsterdam. And I remember seeing this years ago on a bootleg, and the difference between the way I saw it then and this incredible Blue Underground Blu-ray is truly night and day. You can see a little bit there. There's a pretty amazing boat chase in this movie. This was recommended by a friend of mine. I'd seen it, and I guess I'd kind of written it off a little bit. And the recommendation kind of pushed me over to pick up this Blu-ray. And it's like I said, it's gorgeous. And it's got an audio commentary with writer-director Dick Moss and his editor, Making of Amsterdam, Tales from the Canal, interview with one of the stars, interview with the stunt coordinator. It's got the Lois Lane music video, Amsterdams. But definitely an interesting movie with a killer-type guy stalking the canals, looking like that, with a knife. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty unique, I gotta say. Definitely waited too long to get this one. Like I said, this Blue Underground Blu-ray has been out since 2017, it looks like. So I should have picked this up a while ago. But just a recent one. And then last but not least, I got Batman Death in the Family. And this one, I remember the comics, but I don't know anything about this version of it. And it's an interactive movie. It says, immerse yourself in this interactive movie based on the iconic DC storyline event, where your choices will shape the destinies of Gotham City's Caped Crusaders. Trained as Batman's protege, Jason Todd brings a relentless sense of justice as Robin, who sets his sights on bringing down the Joker. But can Batman save Robin from a fate worse than death? Tragedy, revenge, and redemption await in this groundbreaking DC film. Who will live? Who will die? Who will watch over Gotham, the choice is yours. And yeah, so it kind of gives you an example on the side there of what the intermediary choices, you know, like you choose Robin cheats death or Batman saves Robin. I don't know. So I haven't had a chance to dig into this yet, but definitely intrigued by the idea of an interactive movie, and it's R-rated, so they went all out, as they have with their animated features. Actually, I like a lot of these Batman animated features that have been coming out the last 2 or 3 years. They're just, like I said, they're definitely more aimed at adults, so it's not kid stuff, which is intriguing. We'll see how this one goes, but this is new, and why not? So that is it for the box. The box is empty, and thank you for watching. If you have picked up anything recently yourself, just go ahead and leave a note in the comments below. Something good on Blu-ray that you liked. I'd love to hear about it. Maybe it's something I don't have. Maybe it's something I want. Anyway, I appreciate your watching and subscribing, giving a thumbs up, any of that stuff if you find this video warrants it. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.